Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking, but be kind because he's doing the best he can.
Better, stronger, faster.
Mama says that alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
Hey, what if the voice calls while you're gone?
Take a message.
Bye.
You ready, champ? I'm ready for this my whole life.
I'm incapable of small talk. But that's why you love me, right?
Kind of intimidating to be in the presence of so many great athletes.
Good evening. We made it on the air despite technical difficulties, folks. It's been one of those nights, but we made it. I'm glad you made it with us. We're running a hair behind today. Edgar Thompson is standing by. We hope our videos are now working. We've been trying to get that worked out, but hey, thanks to Chad Rich and all of our team, we're up and running tonight, on a Daniel L. Hightower Wednesday. It's a big week for everybody. I just got back from the Ocala Quarterback Club. Very interesting conversation and speech from a coach from Stetson who's started the program 6 years ago. and he will be on a guest on a show probably tomorrow, Roger Hughes. He really loves his football and knows football, and has some interesting things to say in his speech. And we had him on for just a couple of minutes. We'll get to that tonight in the program if we get everything working properly. We're going to hear from Coach Steve Spurrier. Earlier today, we taped that. Yeah, I know none of you are really excited about this, but Urban Meyer was my guest today. I had a chance to visit with him, talking about how he was invited to come to the weekend invitation, even though they know he can't come. Scott Strickland showed a class move and invited Urban. Just you're welcome to come. It is Urban's 2018 that's being saluted this weekend. Tim Tebow is quarterback, and by the way, in case you forgot, Urban was the coach. It's funny what Roger Hughes said tonight whenever Meyer's name was brought up and somebody booed, and he said, help me understand this. I don't quite understand this. He said, didn't he win 2 national championships? Most coaches would be revered. Okay, that's the way that goes. I'm not going there tonight, but I want to get right to our program tonight with our busy schedule. Hopefully we've got our video fixed now. We'll be able to bring some of the stuff to you. And I'm excited about getting our friend from the Orlando Sentinel, Edgar Thompson, who's always got something good to say, very much on top of it. And we're talking about this game this weekend. It's going to be a fun weekend. I wonder if the Swamp will be sold out. What do you think? It's amazing to think that it might not be. So anyway, we will let's go ahead and see if we can get our first bite going here. And see if we can get this to work. And let's hear what Coach Meyer had to say about the invitation. 3. Let's go to the hotline now and talk to a familiar voice, familiar face, and a big weekend for him. I don't mean Indiana, although Big Ten games are always big, but also one remembering a special time in Florida football when Urban Meyer was winning national championships. 2008, Tim Tebow going to the Ring of Honor. Urban, you should be here, but you got something else to do, don't you?
Yeah, it's one of the great teams in college football history. I was asked last week about Tim's speech and about putting it on the wall of the Hebner facility, and so it's just great memories and a really, really great team.
You don't have hardly time to even reflect back much. You always talk about when you will one day. But when you do have a minute, you've had other things on your mind recently. We understand, Coach Meyer, about that. When you think back about 2008 in a moment or two, are there certain things that come to mind, certain games, plays, or people, or what?
Yeah, I'd actually talked to Timmy about this the other day, is after we lost that game to Ole Miss, that was the best practice team we've ever had. And that was, I used to have to call guys off each other because they worked so hard. His speech about no team will ever play harder than we will and work harder, and that was a true statement. It was fulfilled. And obviously Tim, Brandon Spikes, Ryan Stamper, and a guy named David Nelson, went on to score a touchdown in the SEC championship game, and then also the jump pass in the national title game. Was a guy that was impacted around that time and became a really good player for us. So many great stories, and never forget those guys.
David Nelson, of course, one of those who came forward after that loss to Ole Miss and what can I do? And immediately willing to go on special teams and became a big force, as you point out, in that 2000. It seems so long ago, Urban. It seems so long ago, and yet it's not that long ago. And I know you talk to Tim every now and then. Have you had a chance to visit in recent weeks?
I actually, Justin Trout came to our game last week and stopped by. We sat and visited for a while, and I do talk to quite a few of the guys, and I look for someday to get back and hug them all up and tell them thanks for being part of the best, one of the best teams in college football history.
Coach Urban Meyer, 2 national championships to his credit, and one in Ohio State, and still building another one. We'll talk about your Ohio State team in just a moment because you had a huge win last week. And I talked to a friend of yours this morning, Steve Spurrier, and he was paying this to in a compliment. And he said, go back and research how many close games, 2 points or fewer, Urban has won since Bowling Green. I haven't had a chance to do that, and I don't think you probably even know that. But Steve says Urban has a way of winning close games. And he's right about that. How did you do it?
How did we do it? And it's a team that wouldn't give in. We were down by 12 with 8 minutes to go and found a way to pull it out. And as I pointed out with our team, it was special teams set the tone. Defense kept us in the game. And then offense, when we needed it the most, they gave us the very best. And they did. And it was, Coach Spurrier knows about that, obviously. And one of my guys that I admire and truly love, Coach Spurrier, but that was all a team effort.
Last week, that was a barn burner, I'm telling you. Your team came back there, got the plays you needed, able to defend at the right time. The 2-point play went your way. You beating Penn State in the whiteout in a spectacular setting. I think you said after the game in the postgame interview, as good as it gets in college football, that must have been both exhilarating and relieving for you to win that game 27-26.
Yeah, that's a tough environment, and like we've all been a part of some great games. That was one of those ones that in the locker room everybody just kind of exhausted from the effort. We had some key injuries during the course of the game too, where guys just picked it up and carried the sword for their teammate. So just a great win, great team win.
Yeah. And so I don't know if you're able to talk about this, but I know you got an invitation to come this weekend to this Ring of Honor and celebration of your 2008 team in Swamp against LSU. And obviously you have a little game at 4 o'clock against Indiana that will take precedence. But are you able to talk about that at all?
Yeah, the athletic director is Mr. Strickland is first class, and I wish I could be a part of that celebration, but obviously we got things going on here, and we wish them well down there.
Do you know Scott Strickland?
I spoke to him several times on the phone over the last few years, but I got tremendous respect for him.
Well, Urban, I'm glad things are back on track. I know just people want to know, how are you doing? How's everything going? Are you doing okay? And Shelley, and just for the fans who keep up with you, a word about you.
Yeah, we're doing fine. And more importantly, our team's doing fine, and everything's good. Thank you.
Coach Meyer, Urban Meyer, appreciate your time, and we'll be thinking about you this weekend and remembering those glory days of 2008.
Thank you.
Okay, the man everybody loves to hate. It's one day we'll figure that all out. Some of the comments there. Everybody talks about the culture. I don't even have time to get into this now. I'm not going to get into it. Everybody's got their own opinion about Urban. Okay, you have yours. I got mine. I do know the man personally. I do appreciate him coming on the program with me, and I do appreciate what he did at University of Florida. You can choose to be a hater if you like. Go do your thing. I don't go there. You can look at other coaches. How would you rank him to McElwain? Okay, fine. Let's just drop that subject and move on and say, leave it to yourself to make up your mind about what you want. All right, we're going to talk to our friend Edgar Thompson in just a moment. But before we do that, we're going to tell you about Mark's Prime. Boy, oh boy, I'm going to get to go there on Friday night. I cannot wait to go have some of that good food. I don't know if I'll have that dish, but I'll have a good one because I know Mark's Prime has got terrific food. They got the prime seafood and the prime beef. And they give you that great dining. It's about experiencing, eating at a place where you enjoy, having good service, having good food, fresh seafood, premium wines, naturally fetched vegetables. I love their sauteed spinach. So do like I do. Check it out. They're one of the best restaurants in Florida. I've eaten in many New York City steakhouses, and Mark Prime is right there with them. So check them out. Go to Gainesville. You can call up there at 352-336-0077 and Ocala 352-402-0097. Complimentary valet parking. By the way, I talked to Cindy tonight, and they're already sold out on Friday night, and that's what happens. So go online and check out markprimesteakhouse.com and drop by and see why this unique dining experience is one people continually talk about. All right? Let's see if we got any more information here. I want to tell you about your shirts. The folks at All Far Sportswear are on the case. I know our guy is working hard to get their T-shirts out. Unfortunately, the manufacturer has not met the deadline. But the thing about it is that he'll have them to you. He's going to have them out in the mail to you. The T-shirts will be there. It may take a couple of. It may take a little longer for the golf shirts to be there, but he'll have them, and we'll tell you more about that in just a minute and let you know what's happening. Let me just say this about Renstar, by the way. Renstar does a lot of stuff for our community, not the least of which sponsors this. I saw some video tonight of this kid. Wow, what a player this kid is. Offensively, defensively, in every facet. Renstar Medical Research, Renstar Star of the Week. Brian Dillard, his coach, was there tonight. Coach Knox, the quarterback club. This guy does offense, defense, special teams. He is a remarkable young man and player. And my hat's off to Brian Dillard at Lakewood High School and Coach Knox for being there tonight. I'll tell you about Renstar, the Superior Medical Research Facility. Proven reputation as the high-quality, patient-centered clinical research facility. Renstar Medical Research brings cutting-edge clinical research trials to Ocala on such things as Alzheimer's, psoriasis, osteoarthritis, migraine, fibromyalgia, and all those conditions that affect our community. So they've had over 600 clinical trials, maybe closer to 700, and they send their data to pharmaceutical and biomedical companies throughout the industry. So also, importantly, they're a local business. They're run by two friends of mine, Mary Brantley, who happens to be married to Scott Brantley, and Joe Sorrentino. His son Joey played for the Gators and is a dentist here in Ocala, and they do a terrific job in our community downtown, and we thank them for sponsoring the Renstar Star of the Week. If you want to know more about their trials, call them at Ocala at 352-6950-800 or go online to renstar.net and see why they say Renstar Medical Research seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today. Good evening, everybody. I see your comments there throughout. We'll get back to some of those in just a minute. Looks like Robert's on a tear here about Urban. We're going to go on and move on through that. And I think Jake is right. This is a good suggestion. I think Lynn agrees with that. Okay? I talked to him because I have a contact with him. I have him on the show. You can choose to turn it down if you don't want to listen to it. Every now and then, 2 or 3 times a year, I will have him on because he's a newsmaker and he's a heck of a football coach. All right, so let's see if we can get our friend Edgar up and at him, who is Edgar is probably right about now finished his story and is cooking his dinner, I would be guessing. Would be my thoughts. Let's see if we can reach him to find out. Edgar Thompson, who covers for the Orlando Sentinel and does a heck of a job as a beat reporter. Sounds like Edgar is beating his way to the telephone. We'll find out here in a little bit if he's around. And if not, we'll move on to the next video. Coach Spurrier is standing by the way. Coach Steve Spurrier today, talk with him. He's getting kind of fired up about this whole thing with the Apollos, Orlando Apollos. Have you seen that? Yeah, it's the Orlando Apollos, and that's his team. I talked to him about his coaching staff. I talked to him about his some of the players. He's got quite a few former college players in the state of Florida, and he will. He really is excited about it. So let's see. Edgar says he's available now, I believe. So we will try him again. And see if we can get. Is that you, Edgar? Yes. Okay. Tonight on the Quarterback Club, I said, all right, tell me about 2 people. Have you ever heard of Donovan Steiner? And 3 people has. Have you ever heard of Kodak Black? And we all know, of course, Kodak Black is the name of the play where the trick play, not really, just a double pass is all it was. And the play that won the game for him against Mississippi State. So Kodak Black, of course, is a rapper. I think it's probably the first time a play has been named after a rapper at University of Florida. It's not the Ernie Mills play, that's for sure. So anyway, let's find out what's happening up in Gainesville. The man who's on the beat, as always. He was just back in his office and doing some work.
Sorry about that.
Hello, Edgar. Edgar Thompson, the man, the myth. How are you, buddy?
Good, man. I tell you, it's these road trips will wear you out.
You played too much golf, dude.
I played one round.
Did you? How was it? Did you do good?
Great. I got a hat out of it.
What does it say?
Mossy Oak.
Okay, Mossy Oak.
It was a sweet golf course. It was fun.
Where is Mossy Oak?
It was worth doing the drive, but man, that Sunday drive back, it's like, oh my God.
Those are the ones you hate.
It's a long one.
Yeah, I know.
I might drive to Nashville. I mean, it's like, if it's under 10 hours, man, I mean, it almost feels like checking into airports and all that crap.
Yeah, I know. That's right. I agree with you on that. I think it's definitely look, when you do the math, and I've done it a bunch of times, and you have too, you say, I got to drive to Orlando. I got to get there 2 hours ahead of time, So that's 4 hours, and then you're on the plane, and it takes you another 2 hours to get there, and you get off, it takes another, and it's 5-6 hours. Well, in 10, you can be there, right?
Exactly,
and
man.
so, well, maybe I just won't. I'd like to drive when I can, but I don't like to be driving and being in a hurry,
Now I'm with you. So is Urban on here?
He was earlier today. Yeah, it's a tape of Urban. It's funny. I said this earlier. We stopped talking about him because we can't have an adult conversation about him.
No, look,
and
I liked Urban. Urban was good to me, but I got him at the beginning before things went south.
Yeah. And someone said, let's just stop talking about it because we can't agree on anything. And I said that tonight I was at the Old Kind of Quarterback Club, and the guest speaker was from Stetson. By the way, he's a very good speaker. I mean, really good. His name is he's the head coach at Stetson. Roger Hughes is his name. He coached 10 years at Princeton. And he got up and talked without a microphone and walked out in the crowd and talked about football and talked about Stetson. And he did a fascinating job. And it's funny, I had said earlier in the night, I got up and talked about the LSU scouting report, and I mentioned that. I said, I've talked to Urban, today, and I said, go ahead and get your booze in. Of course, some people booed, naturally. This is how it is, to get your booze in there. And I talked about Steve Spurrier, who's going to be on after you on a tape. And Roger Hughes, who's kind of a cool guy and a pretty smart man.
So you're sandwiching me between Urban and Spurrier? I better be on my game tonight.
You better be on it. You better be on it. I got the big three tonight, okay? The big three. And then Roger said, let me understand something here. And he was being honest. He said, the guy wins 2 national championships. Everywhere else he'd be revered. And I thought, well, there you go. That's it. So let's don't go down that road because people get aggravated and they start complaining.
Well, I wasn't here for his exit, and I know it was tumultuous. But, Mullen was getting ripped last week. I mean, we can segue to the game last week because I'm telling you, man, there was a lot of vitriol about Dan Mullen in Starkville. And
well, of course there was.
It was, why of course? I mean, he was in Starkville for 9 years.
Because people, I don't want to call them idiots, okay? Edgar, have you ever changed jobs?
Yeah.
Well, when you changed jobs, did you get accused of being a traitor?
No.
Why do people insist on football coaches being traitors? Steve Spurrier had to overcome that. A lot of people are still mad at him in South Carolina. And people are still mad at him in Florida when he went to the Washington Redskins. What is there about football coaches that people think they sign up as lifers, that they owe the university of their life? I don't get that. Am I missing something?
Well, I mean, Dan Mullen, had opportunities to leave. And
9 times.
He waited for the right one. Yeah. And, I mean, I don't know. After that game, though, I bet you they have a little bit more respect for him because
I hope so.
I think they're probably very unhappy with Joe Moorhead at this point. And they should be.
Yeah, they should be. You know what Joe Moorhead is? He's an insurance salesman. No, nothing against insurance people. Joe Moorhead, it was the most overrated hire of the year, easily.
Was
in my
he?
opinion. I'm
sorry. He was ranked as like the top assistant.
I know, offensive genius. hey, if I had Saquon Barkley and that quarterback, I think I could be a genius too. And he's got Nick Fitzgerald, who, by the way, is not playing well. Let me get your take on that game. We haven't talked to you since then, and we know I love the blitz, Donovan Steiner tonight. As I said, he owns one of the biggest hits in Florida football history, a walk-off safety blitz, and that was a play that'll go down in annals as one of the biggest hits in Florida college football history. What do you think?
Well, I mean, if they continue to build this season, but if they go, here's my thing, man, and I'm always the wet blanket. And
you are a wet blanket, Edgar. I try to get you. Try to get you fired up 4 weeks ago, and you finally got a little excited, and you went back and you regressed again. Come on, Edgar.
I was impressed. I mean, I think he's growing the team. But here's the thing, man. I mean, we just got to keep on. You got to keep proving yourself. Here's what I was saying I did a radio interview earlier. I expect perfection, man. If you're making $6 million and you're some big shot recruit who's getting $50,000 a year in scholarships and adulation and all this, I expect the best.
So everybody who gets $6 million should be undefeated, right?
No,
you said perfection.
I expect you to execute, to play well, and I expect you to coach well, okay? So I hold the standards up here as far as I'm concerned, okay? And the Gators have continued to move toward it. The Kentucky loss, we can see now, was not as bad a loss as we thought. I mean, we thought, oh, my God, 300 yards rushing, blah, blah, blah. Reese's return, Jefferson's return, Adam Schuller's emergence have proven that is a pretty decent front seven. Not great yet, but better. I mean, Voshon Joseph had 7 tackles the other night. It's definitely taken steps in the right direction, okay?
Yeah.
But Tennessee's awful. They're awful. They're not winning a game this year. I mean, they're terrible. And Mississippi State, Dan Mullen knows every single thing to do against that team. How to keep Simmons and Sweat, the defensive linemen, who are going to be top 20 picks in the NFL draft. Mm-hmm. How to keep them at bay. Quick passing, hit the perimeter, don't let them get going. And he knows how to defend Nick Fitzgerald. I mean, look, the Gators gave up a 12 and 13 play drive that Fitzgerald looked pretty good on both of them, and they held him to field goals, to their credit. But the guy dropped a touchdown pass off his hands. They dropped a pick six, going right through the linebacker's hands. So, we need to remember that stuff too. So I want to see what they do this week. They're going to have the crowd behind them. It's going to be an electric atmosphere. I think LSU is eminently beatable. And I think that the Gators can win this game. And if they do, suddenly you got a team that's going to be 6-1 going against Georgia. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, okay, but I still want to still keep, evaluating. I'm not just going to proclaim all of a sudden, oh yeah, this team's going to do. Dan Mullen's doing a great job. I mean, he's getting these guys a bounce back from a tough loss, a humbling loss against Kentucky, and they're doing what they got to do. But, we're 5 games into the season. I'm impressed. I think Franks looks better. He's not making mistakes. I think Grantham's doing a good job with the defense, though TJ Slayton even admitted, buddy, that there was a guy wide open on that play. So a guy got loose on that blitz. That's the danger of that. You open the back end of the defense up completely. And if Nick Fitzgerald hadn't been shell-shocked by that point, he might have seen the guy. And as Slayton said, we'd still be playing right now.
Yeah, well, okay. It didn't happen that way, though. And that's the beautiful thing about it.
But as Slayton pointed out, all I'm trying to say, man, is I'm not going to get ahead of myself here.
Yeah.
They won 13-6. They scored 1 touchdown against a team Dan Mullen knows every single one of those players because you recruited most. So
you're basically Debbie Downer tonight again. That's what you're doing. You're reverting.
Not Debbie Downer. I'm being a voice of reason.
Voice of reason.
How's that being a downer?
Well, no, I'm just saying, look, you celebrate the win. Let's see what happens. We'll talk about the swamp and what's going to happen. and later.
They did a lot of things right the other night, but they had four start penalties in the first 20 minutes. I mean, that was the sloppiest looking football I've seen in years.
Who cares? Look,
do you
think Mark Stoops has done a good job?
I think Mark Stoops has done a phenomenal job.
Okay. And how did he do it?
Well, he built it over years. I mean, he recruited, he built. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what Mullen's going to have to do.
Brick by brick, okay? Did he have this much success his first year at Kentucky? No, he did not. Mark Stoops.
But are we going to compare the Gators with Kentucky, dude? You're talking
about...
Well,
now you're talking about a good coaching job.
You're talking about a blue blood program that thinks... I don't even think Florida's a top 10 football program. We've had this argument at the media room before. I don't think if you were to put the programs, rate them, Florida's in the top 10 personally.
Give me a time frame.
That's just me. I think they're probably 14-ish.
So since 1990, they're not in the top. They're not in the top 10.
I'm
since
saying
1990, three national championships doesn't get you a top 10. Who's won 3 national championships? Tell me that.
So what we're gonna rate something over 27 years?
Well, I mean, I'm just asking you. What time, I said, give me a time period. What's the time period you want to talk about? You want to talk about 10 years? No, they're not.
No, now, the current state of a program.
Okay, right now I'd agree with you.
Facilities.
Right now I would agree with you, but it's trending upward, and that's the key point. That's like the brick by brick.
I'm saying based on facilities,
no, they're definitely not in the top 20.
Okay.
No. I mean, I get you on that. Yeah.
We'll go in reverse. You're jumping in. I'm saying you got to have many factors based on recent record, facilities, resources, recruiting, talent base, all that stuff. Where do the Gators rank right now? Okay.
Where?
I didn't think entering this season they were a top 10 program and they got room to grow. And I think Mullen is definitely going to grow them. But comparing them with Kentucky, I mean, Kentucky's like, they're having a good year, but I mean, Kentucky's Kentucky. You got to go back, to what year do you have to go back to like find a good season with Kentucky? So I wouldn't want to compare them with Kentucky.
Babe Pirelli, 1954. I don't know.
No, I mean, 77, they won 10 games.
Yeah, but I mean, so what? 1 in 10 games doesn't make you a great program. That's not it. You got to win championships.
All I'm trying to say is, I think that Florida has a lot of room to grow, and they're making some strides.
We're kind of agreeing, Edgar, here. It's just how we're going at it.
Yeah, they're making strides, and this would be a huge win this weekend. Huge. And if they lose,
it would.
And then if they lose, they'll be 5-2, which a lot of people probably figured they'd probably be 5-2 about this point. 4-2. Excuse me. 4-2, which a lot of people probably figured. 4-2, probably.
What did you have? I had them 4-2 at this point. You know how I had them though? I had them beating Kentucky and losing, losing one game coming to this one, and LSU.
Mississippi State.
Yeah, I had them losing Mississippi State and had them losing to LSU. That's where I had them. So I would have had them right here, right now, which would be 4-2 if they lose this weekend, which is exactly what I thought they would do at this point. But I didn't think they'd lose those games.
But you're not being Debbie Downer.
No. I mean, look, just because we don't pick the Gators to win every game doesn't mean that we're trying to be reasonably intelligent about this. But anyway.
But you're calling me Debbie Downer. I mean, if they're 4-2 after this week.
I'm not. I'm just having fun with you.
I know you are, but I'm just saying, let's see what they can do. Let's see France against a real secondary. Because he still hadn't faced a very good secondary. I mean, let's be honest.
True. And they got awful good. Let's talk about that. I think the Delpit and Greedy Williams are 2 of the very best he's going to face.
There's no doubt. Greedy Williams is a first-round draft pick.
Right.
I mean, Devin White is the best linebacker the Gators have seen all year.
Chris Boring told me last night he's the best linebacker in football, he said.
He's incredible. He's so fast. I mean, Hevesy, it was after he was finished speaking last night. Apparently he was like a 250-pound fullback. Hevesy recruited him, and he can't even believe how fast this kid's gotten. He just covers the field, man. They're good, dude. I mean, their defense is good. Burrow, I'm not sold on completely.
What don't you like about him?
I mean, he makes a lot of he's not very accurate for one. I mean, but he hadn't played a lot. He's kind of a work in progress, but he hasn't made mistakes.
Yeah.
So it's going to come down to what quarterback makes a mistake potentially. And I mean, look, I think Franks has gotten a lot better at minimizing sacks, mistakes. He's slowly growing into like what Mullen wants him to be. Mullen is keeping things manageable for him. He's not putting him in positions to fail, but succeed. And I think he's doing a great job coaching Felipe Franks. Felipe Franks looks so much more confident. I mean, the other night they had 4 false starts in the first 20 minutes, and Franks didn't like get frustrated, melt down. He kept the team to settle down around him. I thought it was impressive the way Franks handled himself. He was very composed.
Yes, he was, and he's gotten better. And people who didn't think he would be any good, I mean, look, he's not an all-conference quarterback. Okay, we get that. He's not. He just has to be serviceable. He got the ball in the hands of the playmakers, and that is the name of that game, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's what he says himself. I mean, he's like, I want to get the ball to those guys because that's what they do. I am comfortable when I get the ball into the hands of my guys to make plays. And Mullen, to his credit, found ways to use Kadarius Toney in different ways the other night with the double pass. Damian Pierce saw a little bit more of the field, and I think that he's starting to slowly integrate these guys and finding roles for them and ways to use them. And look, it's a long season. We're 4 games. What's their record right now? Are they 4-1 or 3-1? I mean, you're confusing me.
Who?
I thought they were 4-1.
Who? Florida?
The Gators.
They're 4-1.
Okay, because I said 5-1 a minute ago, and you said 4-1. But anyway,
I thought you meant they're 5-1 now. Okay.
No, I meant they'd be 5-1 after this game. But anyway, yeah, they're 4. They're inching along. I mean, and making some jumps here and there, and the defense certainly looks better. And the rotation that they talked about, because I think we talked about this on the show a month ago. They were talking about playing 25, 30 guys on defense, and I'm like, whatever. I mean, that's a bunch of this, hyperbole. And they played 22 the other night, which isn't 25 or 30, but it's still pretty many. And you saw how fresh those guys were by the end. I mean, Polite was like, just had a pep in his step down the stretch. I mean, him and Zuniga have 6 tackles for loss combined in the last 2 games. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I like their edge rushers and I like their defense. I like the way those young secondary guys are playing. I think just getting in the game, getting guys like Sean Davison and C.J. McWilliams in the game, and then Donovan Steiner showing up in that play. It may have been one play, and he got beat on a play right before that, and almost cost him a touchdown pass. But I think we're looking for some progress, aren't we, Edgar? We're looking for progress.
Yes, that's what we're talking about. Keep moving, inching gradually along. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm just like, I don't want to get too excited. It's not, I shouldn't say the term wet blanket because suddenly everyone starts tuning out, negative connotation. But it's like more like I want to balance out, like, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. I think that, they have looked impressive, winning 2 SEC road games consecutively for the first time since 2012. That's not easy to do. I mean, Tennessee, I wasn't sure they were going to win that game. They killed them. Mississippi State, I thought, was going to really probably soundly out-physical this team and win. No, the Gators stepped up and they won in 2 different ways. They won with speed and special teams and kind of overwhelming them that way. And then this past week, they just grinded out a win. That's it. Dan said that from the beginning. He said, look, I like to score points. I'd love to score 100 points. He even nodded to Coach Spurrier, like, hey, I love to score points like Coach Spurrier. But he said, but I also like to win 10-6. He'll win however he has to win. And I mean, he's proven that. And I mean, I think he's a sharp guy who knows how to push the right buttons. And I think the players are responding to him. Yeah,
I agree. All right. So let's talk about a few individual players. They're showing up. And what I like about this team is that they can come up with players like Damian Pierce, and they found a perfect spot for him. In the fourth quarter, after they've thrown those little out routes and those bubble screens and these big defensive linemen are getting tired, they put a guy under fresh legs who's quick like Damian Pierce. He's very effective. And I think they're utilizing their material. That's, what is it? Coaching is developing material, getting a scheme, and knowing when to put the players in and when to call the blitz and when to call the bomb. And that's coaching. I think on that count, I give my own staff an A+.
Well, I do too. I mean, I want to see more of Pierce, actually. I think P. Ryan has looked like their best running back.
I like P. Ryan.
We agreed on that a week ago, but I just think Pierce just is earning touches. I mean, I don't want to totally I don't want to marginalize Scarlett. I mean, Scarlett's been really good at blitz pickups, and he's made some nice runs. I mean, the 30-yard run, the 19-yard run for touchdowns, and the back-to-back games with CSU and Tennessee were nice runs. So you got to figure out a way to integrate those three guys and use them. But I think Pierce definitely is earning his chances more and more and more. And as I was talking about a week ago, that guy can get low, man. I mean, he can get low as my kitchen table and run with power. And when you're 6'3" to 5, trying to corral that guy coming through the line, good luck. You're never going to get a hand. You're not going to be able to stop him because he's so powerful. And then once he gets into the second level, then, we'll see where he can get from there. But I mean, he is a powerhouse with some speed. And that's a 5. But if you can get through to the second level at all, you got a 5-6 yard gain. If you're getting a bunch of 5-6 yard gains, I mean, you're making first down. So I like him.
Let's talk about the offensive line, the job they have of blocking some of those guys. The good news for Gator fans is there are injuries in the LSU line. Their center is their best offensive lineman, won't be one of them. But let's talk about who's going to how they're going to do against these really stellar athletes LSU's got, and then can the offensive line, which was used effectively last week, come up with another big game?
I think a lot of the big game last week, was because of Mullen's play calling. And so what I'm expecting is LSU's really going to press the coverage because they have some very talented defensive backs. So they're not going to give those bubble screens and all that stuff up. You know what I'm saying? So they're not going to be able to throw one out to Trey Grimes where he can get 7 yards because a guy was playing back 5 yards. So that's going to be a potential issue. I don't know the names of all these guys. I mean, Rashard Lawrence might be one of them. He's pretty dang good for LSU. They have another guy they have 2 guys that were like all SEC picks. I don't think they were first team, but second and third team. So they have some real talent on the defensive line, but the linebackers they're swarming. I mean, Devin Smith and their 2 other guys. I mean, they have some real speed and ability at linebacker. So, I mean, the offensive line's going to have to continue to play better, and it can't make mistakes. I mean, Fred Johnson had 3 false start penalties the other night. It's
every game
he's the nicest kid you'll ever meet. He's a big teddy
bear. He's had enough experience to be able to get the snap count for crying out loud. Come on, man.
Well,
I get it. I get it on the road. Maybe that's okay, but don't do it at home.
John Hevesy didn't even excuse it on the road. This is what I'm going to say. Because I said, that was kind of, and he was like, he was mad still. He's like, look, those plays had nothing to do with crowd noise because it goes, here it is. It goes when the center's head, I guess, when Nick Buchanan lifts his head, the other linemen now know, okay, the play's about to begin. Right. Nick Buchanan apparently didn't raise his head on any of those 4. So they hadn't even gotten to the cadence yet. Yeah. So he's like, these guys were so mentally soft. That's what they kept calling them. Mentally soft that they just, I'm not using those words. He just said that they were even jumpy before the play even had started. So they can't play that way this week because you don't want to get behind doing that because Franks might start feeling the pressure this week. He didn't last week, but he could this week, and he handled it really well. I mean, he settled the team down.
He handled it well.
It was impressive.
So Edgar, they always have to give something up. If they do press coverage, then they have the go route. They have the double move. They have things they can do off of that, the press coverage. So they give up something, and the athletes are good enough. Florida has 9 receivers they're playing now, and there's no way in the world they're going to play Jacob Copeland. If they do, they're idiots for doing that because why would you, right? You got enough. One thing you got is plenty of wide receivers, and they got athletes who can hopefully get separation, although Doring told me that was one of the things they didn't do very well at the beginning of the year. So anyway, I think the deal is that there's always something that, and what I like about Mullen, he's a good chess player. he always has an answer of some kind. I mean, I'm not talking about going out and getting 600 yards and 8 touchdown passes, but he'll solve a riddle and he'll find something that works. I guarantee you, he'll find something. And it may be some of the same thing of not going in the teeth of the defense. Maybe getting the ball outside to the receivers and get them in space again, you know?
Well, apparently, Orgeron, I missed this. I was trying to trade some stuff with one of the LSU writers, but he was dealing with like a vigil last night for the tragedy with that one basketball player, that horrible issue.
Yes.
Yeah, just awful. But anyway, the point is, he hasn't gotten back to me, but Orgeron apparently has said that he doesn't think Franks can throw it downfield.
Well, he didn't see the Tennessee game last year, did he?
Well, that was one like.
Well, I'm just saying. You said he can't. He can't. Well, did he complete it? Well, I don't know, but I mean, he can't. He has the arm strength. Does he have the accuracy or whatever?
I don't think he's questioning his arm strength. I think he's questioning whether he can like make the
read
22-yard.
Yeah, I think that's
route.
yeah.
Like Troy Aikman could throw that play all day long, where he hit Irvin 22 yards downfield.
Can Joe Burrow make it?
Who?
Joe Burrow, the quarterback for LSU.
It doesn't matter. Orgeron's worried about Franks.
I know, but my point is there are a lot of quarterbacks who can do that good. Let's wait and see on him.
Well, what he's saying is they're going to challenge him. Is the point? You asked me what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I'm answering.
Okay.
I think they're going to force Franks to make throws downfield.
That makes sense.
And we'll see if he can do it. I think that Trayvon Grimes is someone that he should really start bringing into I think they need to start using him more.
Yeah,
I mean,
by the way, I agree with you. Not getting enough touches there, but there's only one football.
Big guy.
Yeah. Edgar, one thing. I'm sorry for interrupting you. I wanted to say Len Tyndall, who's one of our more astute listeners, and points out that press coverage opens up the middle. And Kroll and Pitts, both, who, by the way, I saw some good moves out there by those guys. Those tight ends look pretty good. Maybe that'll be the next thing to see, next wrinkle. The tight ends catching the ball over the middle, huh?
Kyle Pitts, I mentioned probably the first or second one of these we've done, because we're talking about 6 of these now.
Right.
Kyle Pitts really caught my eye during summer. Yeah. Number 84, he's a big, strong kid. Runs well, agile. I mean, he doesn't look awkward at all.
For a big guy, you know.
He doesn't look awkward at all. He's good.
No,
I was really impressed to see him come in and make that catch. And as Hevesy said, you make a play like that, you get more of them. So I do think that he's going to potentially become a factor.
Yeah.
Kroll, I like some. I mean, he's a pretty athletic guy, man. But if that's what you guys think, it'll open the middle of the field.
I don't know. That's what Lynn said. I think
it's a good point.
Yeah,
it's a good point. But what I'm saying is that, you know, they are going to challenge Franks to do things that I don't think we've seen him do yet, and let's see if he can do it.
Yep.
They're definitely taking away those screens this week. I guarantee you that.
Yes, they are. All right, Edgar, give me the 30-second summary of what you expect to happen on Saturday.
30-second summary, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, what I hope to see is that Tennessee game a couple years ago here was one of the most hard-hitting football games I've seen in a long time. It might have been the 15 game, actually. That's what I want to see, because I love those kind of games where these teams are just getting after each other. And that's what I think we're going to see. I think the Gators feel like they have a real opportunity here, something to prove. The crowd's going to be into it. And LSU is going to show up, and you're going to see what a football team really looks like. I mean, this is going to be an athletic, big, strong football team with a lot of recruiting behind it. And I think, you know, the Gators are just going to have to step up and, like, play at that level. And I think they can physically. Let's see if they can do it mentally, because it's going to really come down to Franks making good decisions. And I think so far he's done it, but this is going to be a whole nother ball game, because I don't think that LSU is going to gash them like Kentucky did for, you know, whatever yards.
Yeah.
But I think Franks is going to have some plays this time for them to win and not just manage the game.
Yeah.
So if he can do it, they could pull off an upset, and I think that it would be a huge step forward for the program. And next thing you know, you got a 6-1 Gator team, because Vanderbilt has not beaten the Gators, going against Georgia. I mean, how exciting could that be?
Very exciting. That's such a huge game Saturday because of that. You're right. If it's Florida, Georgia going for it, I mean, look, there's always a chance, right? There's always a chance.
Well,
Edgar,
I mean, Georgia beat that team, whatever, the 11-win 2012 team with forcing 6 turnovers. Gators do that. I mean, suddenly they got shocked the world. I mean, right?
Exactly. All right, Edgar, great stuff as usual, buddy. Thank you. I appreciate your time. We ought to do this like 2 hours in one night, but you never gain sleep. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Appreciate you listening.
Thank you, man. Good stuff.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, Edgar. Edgar Thompson, one of our favorites, obviously. Guy that comes on every week with us and get a chance to get the benefit of his knowledge. And we do appreciate that very much. We're running behind on a few things, like I probably need to do a Daniel L. Hightower Lawyer spot here because we haven't got it in yet.
No one ever plans a car accident. Having a plan after you've been in one, however, can make a world of difference. Daniel L. Hightower has been fighting for accident victim justice in Ocala and statewide since 1976. After meeting with Dan and his team, you'll know your case matters, that you matter, and that Dan will fight hard to get you just results. If you've been severely injured through no fault of your own by a careless or reckless driver, you need Daniel L. Hightower.
Daniel L. Hightower Lawyer, fighting for accident victim justice since 1976. I want to remind you folks that we do have some shirts coming and that Tony's working real hard to make it happen. There you have it, all Florida Sportswear. And the shirts, I think I've showed you a couple of times what they look like. We hope to have one on tonight, but the manufacturer ran a little behind in getting them there. But Tony is mailing them all out. And all you people who got T-shirts should have them with no problem in time for the game. And then the ones who are ordering golf shirts, we'll see how that goes. But if they come in time, if he didn't mail them to you, he'll be there. There's some kind of Gator gathering. A G&K gathering. I don't know a lot about any tailgates because I'm not privy to that information. But we're putting something together. Nat Blaylock can speak to it. Nat, if you're on, go ahead and make the comments about that. We're trying to find a spot so a few people can come and enjoy the gathering, the getting together. This is what we've always been about anyway, is getting together. So we'll give you more information on that. But the shirts we're working on, they're going to look great when we finally do get them. It is a BlueOut, and it's something that you want to be sure and know. Look at the catalog, by the way, for the women's if you want to order something besides stuff for the BlueOut, the T-shirts, and ladies. And we'll do more of this as we go along tonight and tomorrow night, give you a chance to see what this is all about. And there's, of course, the All Florida Sportswear logo. And you go to oldfloridasportswear.com. Look under the Prince collection, Crown Prince collection. You will see there what they've got. We come back after this interview. We'll talk more about that and other things. We talked to the head ball coach today, and he's getting kind of excited about his Apollos. All right, let's go to the hotline now and talk to a guy who's got a hot hand. He's doing it all right now. You see him on TV commercials, and now he's the ambassador, the consultant, and also the head ball coach of the Orlando Apollos. Coach, where'd that name come from?
Well, I came from the area. Obviously, the Space Coast is crucial to Central Florida, Orlando area. So the owners of the Alliance felt like that was appropriate, and it is. It sort of tells everybody about the Kennedy Space Center, NASA, and we are the Apollos. It's the Greek god of the sun, and we are in the Sunshine State, so I think it's appropriate.
I knew you'd know that. I researched it to find out what it was about, and I love it because I was living over there at the time the Apollo program was going off, working at that paper. You remember when I was over at the Today newspaper there when you were playing, and of course it does embrace the space program. So that's fun, and I've been doing a little research today, looking at stuff. I love how you like people who do their homework, and I want to know first and foremost before we get into that. About your feeling regarding returning to the game of coaching, how it might be different and what you might be doing?
Well, it's a little different in that most people are in the gun, although we'll be underneath and in the gun. I think there's a place for both of those things in offense. The run-pass option is something new that's come in about the last 2-3 years. So that's something we'll incorporate like most everybody else will. But other than that, we hope to put together a really exciting type team that can score a lot of points and win. The object is to win the game, running, passing, whatever it takes. And when they divide up the players, basically it'll be players that just did not make it in the NFL, and there's plenty of outstanding college football players that didn't make it. We'll put a product on the field that people will want to watch on television, and hopefully the Orlando area people will watch us in person.
Well, we talked about this a lot. This couldn't be more ideal for you, especially with the other job. And you got to 4 months, and now you can return to your job as consultant. I'm assuming that'll continue on, consultant ambassador at the University of Florida. Hopefully it will.
That's correct.
Yeah. And now
it's like a 4-month job, and I don't take a leave of absence here till really the 1st of January. The month of January is when the teams will practice. We'll be putting our teams together for a month, and then start playing in February. And then I'll return here as ambassador consultant May the 1st.
Okay. Let's talk about some of your coaches. We mentioned last time who you had some familiar faces, then after that some of the players. Talk about your coaching staff.
Okay. I got several of my Gator coaches coming back. Bob Sanders is going to be defensive coordinator, and Jim Collins. They were here with me 90 through 99, I think, Coach Sanders, Coach Collins, all the years. Jimmy Ray Stevens, offensive line coach. He was here 9 of the years. Won a bunch of championships with him. He's available now. And Willie Jackson's going to come be the wide receiver coach.
Willie Jackson.
So, and I'll help out with wide receivers and quarterbacks and so forth. And then we got some NFL coaches that you don't know about, but good friends of Bob Sanders and Tim Ruskell, our general manager. So we got a combination of some guys that worked with me before and some guys that have coached around in the NFL and are available right now.
And as you discussed, plenty of players, and you get the whole state of Florida to pick from. So you get some Seminoles, and you get some Knights, and you get some guys and some Bulls and Hurricanes, whatever. So it should be plenty of talent out there, Steve.
Yeah, there is. There's plenty of ball players, I tell you. And they want a chance to play, and if they play well enough and get an opportunity to go to the big leagues, the NFL, then that's fine. We're all for them. And we're sort of an opportunity league. We call ourselves a AAA of professional football, and I think that's a good way to describe it. So got a TV contract with CBS. We'll be on Saturdays and Sundays. I guess we'll be competing with basketball season, but hopefully we'll have a product that people will want to watch.
Well, I guess I better get a hold of your new assistant down there, Jennifer Wagner, and get my media credentials. So I'm going to check out the Apollos there. So congratulations to Jennifer. I know she posted on Facebook she's going to work for the Apollos.
She's already down there, but she'll be back up here this weekend helping out with the Gator game against LSU. It's a big one here, buddy.
It is.
Our guys are playing some super defense right now, and the offense is playing smart and doing what's necessary, and it should be a heck of a game here.
Yeah, I wanted to get in that with just a minute. I wanted to mention, you know what your professional record is in football?
Yeah, 47-41.
Yes, sir. I just looked it up to make sure I got it right. And, of course, your college record, 228-89-2. You got a chance to fatten that up a little bit, Coach, if you get those Apollos going down there, Turn that around a little bit.
Well, hopefully. Yeah, my pro record was decent there with the Bandits. It wasn't very good up there with those Redskin guys, but that's okay.
On to LSU. This team is really an enigma because nobody thought they'd be that good, and now they're undefeated and ranked 5th in the country. They've got some good players, certainly in the secondary. All about Greedy Williams and all about guys like Delpit, a heck of a player, and that linebacker White, who's one of the best, I'm told, in the game. And the question is, can Joe Burrow do it naturally at the quarterback position? This got a big game feel to it, Steve. Has it got that feel to you?
I think so. I think all the fans have been looking forward to a game that really means something. We got one loss right now, which doesn't hurt you in conference play. We can't afford two of them, though. The Georgia Bulldogs may not have two losses in conference play, but we get to play them later on. But right now, we just got to worry about trying to play our best against LSU and go from there. But it seems like our team's gaining confidence and momentum as we go through the year. We sort of know what we do best now, and it should be a heck of a game, buddy. It might be a close, low-scoring game, or maybe a bunch of touchdowns will show up. We just got to wait and see.
Probably not, but we'll see, as you say. Hey, Steve, let's talk about the student body, because that's been a focal point for all schools. Even Alabama's having a hard time getting them out. Georgia, you at South Carolina, you had good response. But you had a time, and you brought this when you brought the program, when people were crazy to see the Gators play. And now this game is not even a sellout at this point in time. Now, that doesn't mean Florida's program is broken necessarily. It's all over. It's the students. What is going on with that student body?
I don't have the answer for that, buddy. I just do not have the answer for that. But, yeah, we've been a little bit down the last 2 or 3 years, I guess, attendance-wise. And, I just always thought, well, as coaches and players, we can't worry about that. We got to go play the game, and if we play well enough and do what we need to do, then they'll show up. But other than that, maybe it's to the point where a lot of people feel like, hey, I can watch it on television. I don't have to fight the traffic and the crowds and the in line, traffic lines getting in and out of here. But hopefully it's worth it to a lot of Gators to be there and support the team. So hopefully we'll have a real big crowd here Saturday.
Well, it would be nice to see the Swamp return, to be able to defend that territory. You defended it awfully well all those years. How many games did you lose? You didn't lose hardly any games, 5 or 6, in the Swamp.
Yeah, we lost 5 here in 12 years.
Yeah.
And, we had a good run here, but, that's history now. We gotta, Coach Mullen's got to build his own history, and he's off to a pretty good start.
And how did you do it, Steve? Besides winning, I know he built it and they will come. But did you make it a focal point? Because you stepped in at a time when Georgia was dominating Florida. You turned that around completely and dominated them. You got people back in the Swamp. You got them excited. Maybe football is not as popular as it used to be, but it seems to be trending in the right direction. And do you see the positive signs? This is being a brick-by-brick thing where Mullen's getting it a little bit better every week and maybe by each year?
Well, we hope so. We hope it's building up, and we can tell when recruiting season gets here. That's awfully important, as you know. There's a reason Alabama and Georgia are in the top 4 in the nation. They're number 1, number 2 in recruiting the last 2 or 3 years, all the time. So that plays a big bearing, and Ohio State also. So we got to make sure we do that part also, and just take care of what we can take care of. I think Coach Mullen and the staff understand they can't worry about if it's packed or not. They want it to be, but they got other things that they need to concern themselves with.
Yeah, Dan made a big point. I was talking about it on Monday in this press conference. I did. All right, final question. You have a little wager going here with the former head coach of the LSU Tigers, Les Miles. Your new commercial, I guess, is out. I have not seen it on Dos Equis. Help me say that right. How do you say Dos Equis?
Dos Equis, yeah.
Dos Equis, okay. Yeah, I know the beer. It's good beer. I just don't know how to say it right.
Yeah.
Dos Equis. So tell us about that little wager you got.
He's got to wear a Gator visor if the Gators win, and I have to eat some grass. Good clean grass, though, if LSU wins the game. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens. I think they're going to play the tape when the game's over. So everybody will find out who has to do what.
Well, I hope you don't have to eat any grass, Coach. I'd like to see you put that visor on top of his head.
I'm confident our Gators are going to have a good one here Saturday. It should point to a really good one.
Steve Spurrier, head coach of the Orlando Apollos, and of course he's excited about the LSU Tigers coming to town for a big game. Comes back to the Swamp. Steve, thanks so much for being on the program.
Okay, buddy. Good talking to you. All righty.
Coach Steve Spurrier. Okay, so there he is, head coach. He's getting excited about coaching ball. Okay, so I don't know how you're doing. I have two. Are you guys getting any pools or any kind? Yeah, I mean, yeah, Jennifer, that's not the kind of tobacco he's talking about. The grass is a different kind of grass. I've got two things going on. My wagers in Friday I do with Joe Williams from Denver, who's kind of a handicapper, and we each got $10,000 mythical money to start with. I'm a little over. I'm 12,200 there to the good so far. 2,000 to the good. And then at the Ocala Quarterback Club, we have these pools of 5,000 mythical dollars. And I had a little fun a couple of weeks ago, and I decided to go all in on the Colorado State game because they had got so many points, just for show business, okay? And we didn't, and I lost it. So I'm struggling there, although I'm not really struggling, but I'm struggling there, and they love to kick me around. Fred Lamp likes to really rub it in on me every time because he said, well, we got this, we got that. Well, all right, so tonight we did our picks over at the Quarterback Club again, as we do every week. And the people who are picking with us are Danny Williams, who happens to be out of town. I'll give you a little hint of where he is. Has to think about bright lights in the Strip. I suppose he's doing a little serious wagering there on a few things, legal, by the way. And his lovely wife, Sarah, Judge Sarah Ritteroff Williams, sat in for him. And then Fred Lant, who's a scorekeeper, gave us our 5 games. Here's how that went. Look it over and tell me if I did bad or good. And we're back at the Ocala Outslides here for the Quarterback Club meeting. I think it's week 6. I'm not sure. I'll find out. But the scorekeeper over here will tell me. Fred Lant. Fred, welcome back. And Danny Williams. Wait a minute. Danny looks a little better. Oh, it's Sarah. Judge Ritteroff Williams takes the place of Danny, who's out there someplace in America.
Someplace.
Having a good time.
A real good time.
All right. Very good. All right. So let's talk about how we did last week and what you had for us tonight, Fred.
Well, buddy, this is week 5.
Okay.
Last week, which was week 4, you went 2 and 3, but unfortunately for you, you went big on one of your losses once again. So you were down $400 from your mythical bankroll that is already gone from $5,000 to $1,200.
Wow!
Now you have $800.
Perfect. I'm ready to go now. That means I'm ready to start playing.
Danny went 2 and 3. Excuse me, he went 3 and 2. At $100 a game, and so he's plus 100, went up from $4,400 to $4,500.
Making money. Williams guy.
And I went 2 and 3, down 200 to reduce me from $4,950 to $4,750. So right now, I'm in the lead over Danny by $250, and Danny's in the lead over you by $3,700.
Well, thank you. I'll catch him. Don't worry about it. It's good. Okay, well, let's
You'll keep betting big on the ones you miss. You'll be out of money soon.
Well, but I go to the Mythical Bank and get some more Mythical money. But anyway, let's talk about what we're going to do in terms of this week's card, because that's the past. Let's go to the future. Let's go right now. Who's going to pick first tonight? Are you going to call back game by game?
Well, I picked all of them last week first, so why don't we let you go first this time?
Okay. Oklahoma at Texas. Texas gets 8 points. I went way over here. I changed that bet. I took Oklahoma. I'm going to go Texas on that one, all right? I'm going to go Texas if my phone will allow me to do this. Just on the shot, I'm going only $50 there, okay? I've got to go conservative. Florida State gets 13.5 at Miami. I keep losing money on these Seminoles, but I'm going to go with FSU, take the 13.5 for 50 points. Iowa, right? Iowa at Minnesota. This is a tough one. Minnesota has been letting me down. But I'm going to take Minnesota at 7 for $50 again. And Notre Dame at Virginia Tech. This is a trap game, by the way. Virginia Tech gets 6. I'm taking the Irish. They killed me last week. And I'm betting 50 on the Irish. And finally, LSU at Florida. Big game of the week. I'm taking the 2.5 points in the Florida Gators. They may not win the game, but they will cover. Those are my picks.
How much?
50. Oh, $100 there. $100.
All right. Sarah?
All right. Danny's pick, Oklahoma, -8. Passes all over Texas, 500.
Wow.
Miami, -13.5. Defense smothers FSU, 100. Iowa, -7 for 100. Notre Dame, -6, rolls over Virginia Tech, 500. And we are not betting against Florida on Tim Tebow Day. Florida for 50.
2.5 points a year get. You're taking it 2.5.
Absolutely.
Okay, there's the big guy over here. Let's see what this is your chance to really take a bold stroke.
All right. I'm going to take Oklahoma, $250. Miami, $250. All of mine are $250. Iowa, Notre Dame, and LSU.
All right. You want to recap all those, or can you?
Certainly.
You got 30 seconds.
You mean everybody's or mine?
Each.
Buddy has Texas, FSU, Minnesota, Notre Dame all for 50, and Florida for 100. Danny has Oklahoma and Notre Dame for a 500, Miami and Iowa for 100, and University of Florida for 50. I've got Oklahoma, Miami, Iowa, Notre Dame, and LSU all for 250.
Thankfully, all mythical dollars. Sarah, Fred, enjoy the games. We'll see you here next week.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
be going boldly forward on our picks for the Ocala Quarterback Club. Oh, there you go. For what it's worth, okay? A little fun there. A little fun in games. Let me tell you about Tupperware tonight because it's getting near the holiday time. You think, what to get people? Well, there's a whole shopping list here. If you go to jenlay.mytupperware.com and check out, this is just one of the items. There's lots of other things you can get. And you can cook a whole meal in that. There's all kind of containers that you can have for tailgating. You can have them for, if you do leftovers, we do at our house. Especially if you go out and the restaurant come back with a bag of food, you want to put it someplace. They have containers. This is just one item here. And some really good deals. By the way, if you have an organization that wants to do some fundraising, Tupperware gives you 40% of all sale proceeds back to the organization. So if you want to do that too, go to jenlay.my.cupper.com and to purchase your products and search Tupperware Jen on Facebook and find out where she's going. She'll direct you to the place you need to go. So if you need something for that potato salad, beans, dip, broccoli, whatever you want, she's got that for you, and also other items there for you on Tupperware. It's a household name, has been in America for a long time. Tupperware. Check out Tupperware Jen on Facebook, all right? All right, there's that. Let me tell you again about our friends at Center State Bank. Center State Bank Tuesday, of course, we feature that on Tuesdays. And this is a beautiful facility over on Silver Springs Boulevard, but a little over a mile past downtown Ocala going east on the boulevard, as we call it. And it's used for a public house. It's used for special occasions. And it's, there are people there who can assist you in everything from a wedding to a quarterback club meeting to art gallery, what have you. And they've celebrated the arts up there a long time at that bank. That when it was built, that was built with a purpose. And Tom Ingram, who's now on sabbatical, helped get that started. And that was a great thing in the community. So it's more than a bank. It also is a bank. It's locally market driven. They have a long-term horizon on all their financials. They have world-class service, and they believe in relationship banking. So, if you want to know about the seventh largest bank in the state of Florida, established in 1992, they have 82 locations in 30 Florida counties. If you go on centerstatebank.com, you'll find one near you. And check out this one if you're in my neighborhood. That's located in the Silver Springs Boulevard. And you can call them on 352-368-6800 or go to centerstatebank.com and find out what they mean. They say Center State Bank, centered on community and customer service. Okay, I think that takes care of that business for tonight. Don't forget the T-shirts. This is what some of the shirts look like in All-Far Sportswear. This is a good-looking shirt here. I've not seen this. This is an Elite. If you remember the Elite, this won't be available this week, but it will be available soon. It'll be on the catalog. You can go to allfarsportswear.com and check it out. And, of course, the blue ones we're featuring, which are really terrific for our Circle K weekend. Circle K, Circle 15, in honor of Tim Tebow. We made this shirt up just through our folks here to do this, and which is in honor of one of the greatest players, maybe the greatest player ever. Was he the greatest player? I don't know. You can make a case for it. Here's one shot of that right there. That's a good-looking shirt right there now, isn't it? Look at that baby right there. That's a lady's shirt. Yeah, that's a lady's shirt. Look at the G and K on the sleeve over there. Yeah, that's good. Look, I can't wait to see it. It should be here tomorrow, hopefully, and we'll be sporting some of those in the swamp on Saturday. And if you need information on where we're going to do a little meet and greet, check with Nat. He'll be out here tomorrow night, too. He's worked extremely hard. He and by the way, also Chad, who works all the time, and Jan Scope, by the way, will be doing this. So we definitely will have something put together, and we would want to make sure you folks know about it. All right? So I will say that wraps it up for tonight. And we appreciate, again, you tuning in. Sorry for the delay tonight. We went a little long to make up for it. So we will say good night to you and say thanks for listening, thanks for watching, thanks for our guest lineup. Not too bad. Urban Meyer, Steve Spurrier, and our friend from Orlando, Edgar Thompson. Earlier in the week, Terry Bradshaw. He'll come back on Friday, and Terry will give us a rundown on some of the NFL games you'll follow, including the Jacksonville Jaguars. Some of you folks, like Matt Wardell, follow the Jaguars. So we'll visit, because when college football winds down, and in December and parts of January, we'll have a few NFL discussions here. But having said all that, this is a college football show specifically, and it's also a show about the Florida Gators. And thank all of you for listening and watching tonight. All right? Have a good night.